this video, I'm going to share with you what kind of homes you can expect to see in the Lower East Side in Manhattan. Now, this neighborhood has kind of been known as a tenement building neighborhood. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, we're going to share a photo just so you can see exactly what type of building I'm talking about here. And like I said, this neighborhood was known as a tenement building neighborhood. So these type of homes were once home to thousands of residents in the Lower East Side. And it was definitely the most popular type of real estate that existed in this neighborhood at one time. So what were these buildings? So they were typically 5-story buildings that housed a lot of working class people in the neighborhood and a lot of people that were coming over from Europe for the first time to the US. You might be familiar with the Tenement Building Museum in the Lower East Side. So this museum is basically just showing people exactly what living in one of these buildings in the Lower East Side used to be like back in the day. So these type of buildings were known for cramped living spaces. They were just so overcrowded. They were almost hazardous at times, but at the same time, they were also a huge symbol of the immigrant life here in New York City. So a lot of these tenement buildings that once existed here have been converted now. So they've been renovated, they've been updated, and they're now apartment buildings that are definitely way less crowded and definitely way less hazardous. But at the same time, they really do give us a piece of history in New York City. Now, you are going to have a good amount of walk-up apartments in the Lower East Side. What does a walk-up apartment mean? It means that there are no elevators in the building. Now, with a walk-up apartment, pretty much almost never going to be more than 6 stories tall. So you're not going to have to walk up 10 floors, of course, but might have to walk up 4. And depending on how many stairs are there, it can be a little exhausting. As a real estate agent, I spend a lot of time going up walk-ups. But the good thing with walk-up apartments is because there's no elevator, and also with no elevator means there's no doorman as well, these apartments are definitely going to be cheaper than apartments with an elevator or with a doorman. But at the same time, think about it. Being in a walk-up is challenging for anybody, let alone somebody who has any type of mobility issues at all. So these type of homes, it's definitely less competitive to get in because so many people aren't going to want to walk up all those stairs or physically can't. So then you're going to also have luxury apartments for sale and luxury apartments for rent. Now, this neighborhood has had quite a lot of new construction pop up in the neighborhood over the past 10 years. And this has come with some controversy because some people like to keep the Lower East Side classic and dedicate this neighborhood to basically what it once was, which was a community for so many immigrants to come into the city. But also developers come in and Manhattan decides that they want to let people build here as well. I see both sides because sometimes it's good for a neighborhood to go through a transformation, but you also don't want to forget where a neighborhood came from as well and kind of just take over with everything being brand new. I do have to say, right now, there are some really, really nice new developments in the Lower East Side, like gorgeous, absolutely stunning places. If you are looking for new construction, whether on the rent or buy side, this is going to be a good neighborhood to look at. I do have to say, there's one building in the Lower East Side right now that probably has some of the craziest amenities I've seen in a building so far. And we're going to make a separate video on that, but it's wild to see what these buildings are coming up with. So some of these luxury amenities that you're seeing in a lot of these new construction buildings is going to be pools, rooftops, fitness centers, and playrooms for kids. And those are just some of the general amenities. You're seeing a lot of buildings get really, really creative. These are basically going to be the different types of homes that you're going to see in the neighborhood. Now, this video is meant to give you a general overview of what you're going to see in the neighborhood. There's always going to be a couple of little exceptions to the rules. So I would love to hear your experience about living in the Lower East Side if you've lived in this neighborhood before. Or I would also like to know, would you even live in the Lower East Side? As always, I love hearing from you guys in the comments.